Alright, so goal is to do this again one more time off stream. The sole purpose of that being I don't want to put people through this again on stream. It will be official. It will at that. Bishoujo Senshi Sailor Moon. There we go. Just because playing through with Sailor Mercury is like a nightmare. But I think I've gotten down how to play through well. And it's just going to revolve around her throws, and it's actually going to be a little bit slower than I would care for it to be. But I actually have a chance of getting through it. So, sure. I'll do this. We'll start from character select this time. I didn't do that last time, but that'll be fine. Thanks. It should go well because I've kind of figured it out. Every game takes, well, not every game, but these types of games take 2 runs because there's one to basically learn the trick, and then there's another one to go through it and do the trick the whole way through. And now knowing how her neutral grab works, that's 90% of what you want to do. I'm doing a little bit less talking than I typically do on my videos because this is the first one that I'm recording off stream. Again, because I feel like this would be a lot to put people through. So the plan is to just do this off stream, and that way nobody else has to worry about it. But maybe I'll get a respectable time now, which is always a good thing too. That was a little combo action there. And because it is off stream, I'm leaving my door open so you can actually see my kitties hanging out. Fingers crossed they don't run through and unplug anything, because then I have to do this a 3rd time. Nobody wants that. Nice. You can come in if you want. That's fine. But yeah, barring any major accidents. So, hi, YouTube. I'm wondering if all characters have a neutral grab like this, because that actually went fairly quickly. Being able to chain those neutral grabs is sort of super huge right now. You don't need to do it to all of them, because you can stack these little, like, whatever these guys are. My favorite looking enemies in the game. I wish the music had a little bit more to it, but that's okay. The biggest issue is just that these guys, everybody essentially can basic punch out of Sailor Mercury's general attack. Especially the basic enemies, which does not make sense. Because you would assume that they would be among the easiest to take out, but they could not be farther from the truth. And it makes me nervous doing those moves because frequently you'll just get comboed out of it. So that like suplex slam is your main go-to move. Again, little dangerous tactics there, but it paid off. Those guys actually aren't bad. But as World 1 goes, I believe this is infinitely quicker than it had been going. Like, I think my first time was somewhere in the order of 9 minutes or something. So again, is this going to be the quickest way through the game? I'm not 10,000% sure. But I do know it will be relatively safe. Forgot about his pounce attack. So this boss and some of the others may not work as great for this plan. Especially since it seems like for him anyway, you pretty much want to get him in that. It's odd. Now the enemies that I'm having difficulty with are the ones that I was doing well against in the first run. As few as those were, this boss tended to give me the least bit of trouble. And he just gets damage on things that aren't even attacks. Like, you don't even hit him with his special. You're just stuck in his, like, iframes there. So that part of it is disappointing. But I feel like I've got something that works universally, and then you find, like, one boss it doesn't work on. Because he just roars, apparently, and you die. There we go. Alright, that I can deal with. We died twice. That's not really great. But we did get through the level. I don't think it's a cat. Let's see. I'll take a C. The plan here is going to be to save at least one continue for the end of the game. That's what we need to do at the moment. I accidentally hit the wrong button there, so we have the title screen way longer than we should have. It is gonna be Slamapalooza 2018 here. Those go way easier. And occasionally maybe a jump kick to close the distance. Like that for a stun, and a grab and slam. Watch out for the enemies off screen. And just don't even bother with the spin kick, guys. The slam to take down their health, and then I thought maybe I had a chance there. At not taking the incredible damage. And that's why that stun move on the red ones is great. You do the low punch, grab, and slam, and then they're dead. Like, that just completely wipes them out. Nope. About to die again. Yep, because you can get hit while you're in a throwing animation. I suppose it's my fault for not considering. Slam. Grab slam. See, because they will get double damage for that. If they're both hitting you, they both get the damage for it. So that's how you just die quickly. In normal mode, anyway. I don't know a whole lot about easy mode. This would be an awesome thing to be able to sneak into a marathon if you were good enough at it. Like, hard mode for this would be tremendous. Especially if it's just a lot of Mercury grabbing and slamming enemies. Because that dude can just go into breakdance mode at random. See, that's the thing, is enemies don't have setup frames in this. Like, they just go from walking mode to attacking mode. That's probably not true. You know, someone who watches this with a critical eye is probably going to be like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Which is fair, I suppose. It's more just a function of I know what I can, like, feel from playing this game, and that's kind of what you feel, is that an enemy who is standing next to you 1 second is then just killing you. And there's no avoiding the attack. Alright, so if you do that against them, they try and hit you with that move. You can combo them. You can combo everything except the super basic enemies. Super basic enemies counter your attacks with punches. It's unbelievable. It's okay, I'm trying to figure out what I'm dealing with here. Okay. Also, knowing when to do the takeover and knowing when to ballistic your opponent is pretty smart too. Unfortunately, that Sunday did not give me as much health back as I had hoped for. But you can get on those guys pretty easily. Now, the big part here is that we're not any continues in. And that's huge because I was, I think, too deep at this point. Alright, so we'll do that. To try and set them up, to just throw them all away. So that hopefully, like, yeah, this was the plan. Isolate her. And then just try and use distance attacks to take them out. Which sort of worked. But at some point off screen, they end up getting immune to your attacks. Alright, gotta wait for him to bounce back on screen and stop breakdancing. Now, the good runs of this game with the great characters. I'm trying to think of the runs that aren't ones that I have done. They would be essentially approaching done by now. Even in normal, I think the normal time is like 15 minutes. Easy mode is way less, because in easy mode, you only play the first 2 levels. Alright, open, okay. So that's the one where you try and do the opening punch and then work your way around. This is going better than I had hoped. Because I haven't had to resort to as much... Well, I haven't had to burn a continue yet. I'm staying alive more, which is kind of just the point. I'm not sure where this is relative to my other times, although that rainbow split seems to indicate that that was a rainbow. I don't know. Count to 3 seemed like a good idea. Body slam. Oh, so he responds with that jump, regardless. I think if I get to the bottom here, there's some food. Like, I feel like there is food coming. Now, again, the very cautious strats here, because I don't know how to punch with Mercury and not get counterpunched. And getting counterpunched here is just death. If one of them would stick out more than the other, we'd be able to resort to the slams, but that hasn't happened yet. Because one of them would... Yeah, one of them will punch while you try and grapple or do any type of attack. There we go. I've almost started doing like a no standard attacks run of this game. Thought for sure I was gonna die there. I just figured one of the off-screen enemies would have hit me. That's a bummer. Because you know there's food coming. Alright. It seems so... There it is. It seems so overly cautious, but it actually is pretty effective. So since that's going to go off screen anyway. Those guys you can hit. Okay. That worked. Often she'll teleport just right into your grab. That's the least damaging attack we can do right now. The full kicks are effective. But if you can't full kick, then the takeover slam is what you want to do. Getting on top of, like, the board is kind of the plan, because her attacks go down, they don't go up. So when you get up at the very top, and she starts, like, spinning, the spins won't hit you if you're up on the top. So that was pretty good. I did die a couple times, enough that we needed to use the continue, but I actually felt pretty good about that. And he gives us a D. I think he gives you an auto D every time you use a continue. So that's not the end of the world. This is around when I figured out the punches were not the way to go. When I did the run on stream. I almost wish I had a name for this, like a YoBGS After Dark or something, but when you call something After Dark and you're playing Sailor Moon, you are just asking for the internet to judge you. In this level, because of the treadmills, the enemies tend to do things they don't normally do. That's why I'm getting away with less of the slamming and more of the kicking. See, you end up wasting half your health to try and save a second or two. We're above him there, so that's why that worked. To my eye, that's why that worked. Not being one of the experts at running this, I'm not entirely certain. All of these enemies are actually right up our alley because they're all pretty susceptible to just the regular attacks. But the treadmill makes it a little bit more confusing. Oops, we're not paying attention. The treadmill makes it a little bit more confusing because they can slide past you sometimes. And then when they do that, you run into trouble. But that worked well. Okay. What? I said okay. So far, so good. Maybe this is more the way I need to look at a general approach to like, running beat-em-ups is find the healthy cheese strats before you just start going for the brutal insta-win cheese strats, because staying alive, if you don't stay alive and you're like, oh, I can do level 1 fast, but then I die on level 2, you don't really know what's in the rest of the game, and learning the rest of the run doesn't make sense. But this one, by learning the entirety of the game and coming back through again, I should at least end up with something I can complete. Yeah, but then you walk yourself into those traps. I hate that so much. I got greedy. I hate that so much. Because you just assume... You just start assuming that, like, oh, you've got a handle on this game, so that means that enemies will stop counterattacking. It's like, no, that's nowhere even close to how this works. It doesn't help that this game doesn't have the best music. I mean, it's pretty well set, I guess you would say. Oh wow, we died to the most basic enemies on this card. That's disappointing. I guess I've never been able to land that attack before. Usually these guys are just pretty well cupcakes. You walk up to them, you hit them. So for him to have landed and then gone into some wacky combo, you just sit there like, I'm gonna have to disagree with that one. You can cover a little bit more distance quickly by jumping. I've learned that just by playing a lot of fighters in general lately. Even like, you know, like the Street Fighter-y type fighter games. It looks like there are some kind of loops you can get enemies stuck into in this one. If you're diligent about when you use your punches and stuff. And if this were to be my only speed game, I would probably start figuring some of that stuff out. But for now, the mass body slams seem to be sufficing nicely. Okay. At the top of the... yeah, it's top of the hill. hanging in there. I think I've only died once so far in World 3. Pick up an extra life there. Yeah, this boss is, to me, always pretty crazy unpredictable. It's one way to do it. And again, just catching them in the throw animation. But even that only does so much. To my mind, the hardest boss in the game, unless you can get that weird, like, alright, unless you can get kind of off on her jumps. So in this one, she's just letting me kind of counter with the full combo, and I regrettably don't know enough about the game to know exactly why that is, but it does seem to be something you can exploit in this part anyway. She'll jump, and then because I went like a couple of pixels down but still within her hitbox, it's still working. Because I mean, this fight was a mega game over in the run I did on stream. It's like no one's gonna believe that this is an actual run. It's not even a good one, but relative to what I was doing earlier, no one's gonna believe this. Still, we're hanging in there. Grab that one up. Sorry, I'm also watching a stream off to the side. And in the middle of that, I'm like, I want to get in on their conversation, but I'm also trying to speedrun. This feels so super disrespectful, I guess. Like, I'm playing a game, and I know that there are a lot of people that enjoy playing this game, and then I'm like trying to chat in the middle of it. Oh, crud. And then half the time when you want to special out of something, you can't. I sort of like this yo, but again, I don't like calling it a blah 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 after dark, because when you call it an after dark, it seems like, gee, why are you playing Sailor Moon after dark? I don't know what that kick did necessarily. It didn't look like it recovered any health. Okay, we got a fan. Fans are great ways to take those enemies out. You just whack everybody else with the fan. Like, bad. But yeah, this sound, the sound of this level, alright. So I guess the last level wasn't quite fair, because I said I didn't like the music. I love the music in this level. It just reminds me of something. I don't know exactly what, though. So the fan whack is quality, but it's not as good as the takeover slam is everything. Like, that does so much damage. You're starting to get to that point where mobs have a lot more health. This is working out well so far. Oh, it won't let us pick it back up again. Hopefully we were nearing the end of the part. I think we were nearing the end of the part that it would have let us use the fan for it anyway. Alright. Whoa! Those guys are easily... I also don't think they have high defense, so like, that should... Yeah, that took them out. There were more of these guys left in the park. Now I wish I still had the fan. Sometimes they play nice. But again, taking the risk of them playing nice will essentially ruin your entire run if they don't. As I found out the hard way. Alright. Hey, we got an extra life somehow. So I must be keeping track of your points somewhere. Alright, yeah, this level has hype music. Level 4 as a whole is pretty hype. I think this is where I found out about the slams. The slams of destiny. Take both of them out, I think. Yep. So far, so good. The trick in this level with the treadmills is just to get on the same vertical as everyone else. Hanging in there with the health. I actually feel like I'm doing more in this run than I did with Sailor Moon. Like, when I played through this with Sailor Moon, even though the time was, I think, better, it felt like I didn't have to do as much. It felt like it just kind of was mashing my way through. This, I actually feel like I found some tech. And if I could figure out how to just get regular hit combos on the most basic of enemies, I'd feel so much better. But right now, the having to resort to slams against these guys is the part that's really difficult. But this was the tactic I meant to come into this run with when I started it on stream today. It was manipulate vertical, and then just grab. Because even on enemies with more than one full health bar, they're 3 or 4 grabs away from doom. Grapple him for the fun of it. I would do a specialty miscellaneous category in this that was only grabs. The bosses would be difficult, but everything else would not be bad. Again, I got greedy, and now I'm gonna die because of it. Look at that. 2 enemies eat an entire life because you get greedy. And that's where that weird balance in this particular game comes in, between trying to save time and trying to go fast. Or, wow. Yeah, trying to save time and trying to go fast. That makes sense. Between trying to live and trying to go fast. Enemies like those we've pretty well got in hand. They're not that hard. Those guys should just get them before they do their rolly attacks and we're fine. There was cake. That's disappointing. You take all of them out, because the 4 attack keeps them under control. He's capable of doing the most damage if he starts rolling. Yeah, so it just becomes enemy juggling. Because this game actually punishes you for taking on more enemies than you can handle at once. you get those enemies that come running in after. Or when she just stays right outside of your reach. And you can't jump to get inside on her. To hope you get the grapple. Being a little bit more careful here, although I think I've only used one continue so far. So this is seeming to be more like a knowledgeable playthrough of the game and a little bit less haphazard. Because there's not even a ton to level 5. There's that whole big part with the final boss fight. That's it. So going into that boss fight with a ridiculous amount of continues would make life so much better. Because of course there's another one. Always another one. But where he's at now, it should be just a 3 grab, so... 3 grabs and a off-screen combo. And that's the only hard part about this level. You lose enemies off-screen because the treadmills are all moving right to left. You're just asking for trouble. One shot to grab him, and then you have problems. There's your shot to grab him. So he does 2. I don't know that you can grapple him between the 2. That reaches behind him, so he should come up to the top. And then he goes into his attack script. There's the 2. The game would not let me grab him in the middle of those. When the game decides he's in the middle of one of those, not much you can do. So this is taking about the same time, oddly enough. But defense-wise and like game-wise, we're doing infinitely better. Dying way more, or dying way less. And the survivability part of things is what's super helpful. I had this at 50 minutes. So the fact that I'm in the 40s, I'm actually kind of okay with. So wait. Stick to the throws, and again, people who are good at this game and watch this, like, why the heck are you doing that? Because it's safe. See, it's the only way I can assure myself that I'm not gonna deal with that, where I'm in the middle of my basic attack and I have to combo out of it. You know that attack you thought you had? That's a good one. That in every beat 'em up is a certain way? Well, we made it a little bit different. Hope you enjoy. The sad part is you have to be like, well, truthfully, I do. Because fortunately, where you did close one door, you left the window open. I'll just grapple your way to victory. Okay. Yeah, you just... Again, you can just body slam chain grab everything. It's not as quick as a lot of beat-em-ups where you have to, or where you can stack 2 or 3 at a time, but that's because their punches, if any one of them decides to punch, you're out of commission. At least there's a cinnamon bun. Brand nondescript Cinnabon. They were feeling generous. It's so funny. It's like when the game decides to feel generous, that's when you save time. At least at the skill level that I play the game at, anyway. Guy falls and just decides he's going to be attacking when he hits the ground. Yes. Alright, we're hanging in there. This is not a part that's notoriously difficult. Well, at least not for the way I've been playing it. Because we have ways to mitigate all of these enemies' attacks. It just requires a little bit more caution, which again, in speedrun is meh. But it is, to my eye, the fastest way to do it. So far, so good. Alright. Managed to tack on a little bit more damage there before the grab. That was almost dangerous. But it looks like if you do a jump down punch and then you land a couple blows, you can actually get through those okay. Wait for them to get back up. Let's say that's the disappointing part. They ended up together. That's instant death. So for the sake of swag, I will just chain throw them. Now we're back to these standard enemies that can just be regularly beaten up, essentially. And we should have a boss now. I like that the music doesn't change, he just shows up. He also doesn't have any visible iframes. You just have to know when he runs around and does a kendo bonk with his sword. That means there's nothing you can do. Which is funny, because you walk like that close to him, and he just has no attack. So this is That's hilarious. So if you just get up and you mirror him, he won't do anything. Until you grab him and then throw him. Although now that he's in like danger mode, his script must change. No, because he's just backing up. So you power slam him, the game doesn't know what to do. So I guess that's pretty neat. That's okay, because we have at least a continue. It'd be nice if there's a way to block, or do anything, really. Because she just completely kills you with that move. There's nothing you can do against it either. I seem to remember that playing vertically was how I beat her with the move. That's fine. You almost have to use the iframes from other enemies to keep her down. See, that one, it's letting her get the advantage there. Hopefully we have one more continue. Okay, good. She was literally one slam away. Alright, well, that's that. So we managed to beat the game after having a colossally difficult time with it. And again, the time is certainly nowhere near where the better players are with their times. And actually, I may have been doing myself a disservice by pumping up the volume. So I'm going to turn that down a little bit right there. And yeah, I suppose I'm going to hang around here at least until the end of this, and that'll end my first sort of after dark type of vibe. What is this here? Okay, he's left that around forever, but that's unrelated. That's something for my day job, not for this. So, alright, well, they landed a big blow there. And then you get to see the credits, all that fun stuff. Which is much better than the game over screen, actually. Again, for the sake of the video, I'm probably gonna let the credits play for a minute, and I will be back. And then I'll probably be where I end it for this video, which is cool because we did what we needed to do, so that's nice. I'm fine baking it. Alright, well, this looks like the end screen. So I think that's where I'm gonna go ahead and, yeah, because I hit start. Okay, and we're back to the main credit screen. So that's gonna do it. Thanks for checking out my video. Feel free to bop this time yourself. It's not good, but it's what I got. So I'll see you around. Thanks for checking it out.